Hello everybody, it's Llewellyn here with Warm to Whimsy. We are going to be working on this dresser here. It's my octopus dresser that I've been slowly working on and showing you all. So I kind of just got sat down here and all my paints are already here because I've been working on it. So anyways, I'm going to be working on this little guy with all of his lovely tentacles. So we get to do some more of these suckers and maybe a little bit more of the shading. I am not quite done there. So yeah, I'm just continuing on him. And the colors that I used for him are Rusty Nail and Flamingo is his bright orangey color. And Cotton is my white. And then for some of that shading to like tone down his bright oranges, I used the Bunker Hill blue, which is the same blue that I have around him on the edges here. It's like this really deep, bright colored blue. It's really pretty. So I have a little picture for inspiration. I'm also gonna be doing a little sea turtle. So I've got a wee little sea turtle to do. I think I'm gonna put him right above the octopus up here. So we might get to some of that tonight, but probably not all of it. So we'll see how far we can get. And I'm just gonna hop in and get started. I'm just using this for my palette. And I usually get straight to it with the painting. So I know that's why people are here. And I'm just gonna put some of the white on it first. And then some flamingo for this guy, because you can see that's his colors right there. It's the white and the flamingo. And I already have some paint on here, so I apologize. I'm gonna use a little bit of the Rusty Nail, and then I also need some of that Bunker Hill blue. And I'm kind of just scooping right into my paints. I didn't really get any in the other ones because the paint is really thick, so I was just getting some on my palette there. And rinse out my brush a little bit. So we gotta continue on him, and what I really want to start doing are his little suckers. Because that's kind of what brings him to life. I'm gonna use some Dixie Belle blue in there too, because I forgot I'm doing like these little suckers. And I used the Dixie Belle blue just to make them pop, so I'm gonna get a little bit of that. I'm using my Turquoise Iris brush. This is the Pro Round, so this is from her Pro series. These darker blue ones, and that you can purchase them through her or through Paint Pixie, which is owned by my friend Josie. So yes, we're using one of my favorites, and this round one has got to be one of my favorites. You'll see in a minute why. So I'm gonna get, what did I use for his little suckers there? I'm gonna make kind of a gray blue. Let's see if you guys can even see this with the Bunker Hill blue and the Dixie Belle blue. And then I toned it down with just a little bit of the Rusty Nail. I need more Bunker Hill, it needs to be darker. And these are gonna be my first. So I'm gonna start with this guy right here. I wanna make sure you guys can see too, because I'm gonna be doing some shading. Bring you in nice and close. There we go. And to start with, I just kind of did a little circle, and they kind of go like by pairs, like side by side by side, if you ever really look at them. I'm probably not doing them perfectly, but I'm doing them my way. So I start with just the circle, and they still look pretty boring. You see how these ones, they look like 3D, and then these ones is just like, what the heck are you doing? But that'll change, that'll change. But I like how adding like just a little bit of coloring to them, like a little bit of highlights, can make them look like they're standing out from him instead of just flat, you know? So I'm continuing up. I'm kind of following the shape of the inspiration picture that I was sent. So I'm kind of, it's really helpful sometimes to have an inspiration photo giving you the shapes of things. So I'm kind of following that. Up his arm, I'm gonna get some water on there because this paint dries pretty quick. I like how his shading is coming together, so I am happy with him so far. So I'm gonna get a little bit more of that Dixie Belle blue on my brush, and then I just do a little, let's see, I just did a little swoop. So I made it slightly lighter, and then just to give it that dimension, I made a little swoop over it and under it. And you see how that makes it look like it's like a little tube instead of just a little flat, instead of just a flat circle. So I did like a bigger swoop over and then a little line under. And you can make them face, you know, different ways. But that's the part I think personally that kind of brings it to life. So when I put the little suckers, I'm hoping I'm using the right term for those. The octopus little sucky things, the little suckers on the bottom. That kind of shows you like which way it's facing. So, you know, if I go, kind of shows you the whole way each tentacle would be facing. So my darker, I should have blended that a little more with some other colors and grayed it out a little bit, but I can go back. I just mixed it with a little bit of the Rusty Nail, which is kind of a red color, and that made it a bit more gray and not so bright blue. But you see, you have the wrong color, just go right back over it. So you can see I'm kind of making his tentacle turn like this way. I think a lot of times those little suckers are closer together. Okay, and then we're going to lighten it up again for that to make the shading come to life. we can see his everything. He looks good. All his tentacles are starting to look good. So I'll be putting, maybe I'll do a couple tentacles on this one right now. I do know I want to keep this one. I think I'm going to have like the water dragging his tentacles up. I might have some of the water coming over him a wee little bit, but I don't want to really hide him too much, but I might have his tentacles going into it. So in the inspiration photo I was sent, it's kind of like a circle, and there's some waves. They don't go quite like this one. I kind of made the circle with the wave, but there's a sea turtle. I think he's somewhere up here, but I'm going to make him right here. And there's fish, and they all kind of make a circle, which I really thought the circle idea was cool and decided to do it with a wave and the creatures. So I'm gonna map out this sea turtle over here, and I think I'm just gonna use gray, kind of. Well, maybe I'll use white. What should I use? I'll use white. And I'm kind of making him over here on the side because I didn't want to cover up. Sorry, my paintbrush in my mouth. I didn't want to cover up my wave too much, so I'm doing him over here on the side. I will be putting some fish in that wave though, for sure. So we'll start this sea turtle in here. I'll wet my paint a little bit while I'm doing this. This is just like my background layer, and it'll just kind of cover up the colors that are going on underneath, so I can paint new colors on the sea turtle. And I can always go back in, like I'm gonna do with this guy, and like I have a little bit, and clean up all the outer edges and all the lines that I made if I don't like them. I was also looking at some inspiration photos on Pinterest. For any of you who've looked up sea turtles on Pinterest, you know there are some super cool ones. So this is just his idea. Getting the idea of him in. And that's kind of why I left this wave a little bit less too, is because I knew I was going to have a sea turtle guy up here. So there's one of his floating fins. I feel like a lot of the stuff, like with just the regular furniture finishes, is really what was like the best preparation for doing all the rest of my art that I could have had, honestly. With those furniture finishes, you learn to be patient, you learn to layer, you know. That was most of my training. I'm not sure if I'll keep his fin that way. I'm not sure if I like it yet. We'll see. Maybe. And then I need a little back fin coming out. He's gonna have one of those. There's his little back fin. Don't they have a tiny tail? I'll have to check and make sure. I think they have tiny tails. I'll be looking at my inspiration. But that's where he's gonna go. And then there's gonna be some fish like jumping up into the wave too. Kind of keep it in that circular idea. So the animals sort of mimic the circle of the wave. Hopefully I'll be able to accomplish this and get my point across. I usually just redo it until I do get my point across, you know, until I get it where I want it. But okay guys, that was it for tonight, because my little turtle guy, he's got to dry before I can continue on. And I'm gonna be adding some bright colors. And I want to thank you all for joining me tonight. Bye everybody.